This podcast is brought to you by the Association for Coaching, the world's leading international professional body which is advancing coaching in business and society worldwide. I'm your host, Rob Lawrence, and in this new series we are celebrating 20 years of the Association for Coaching by reflecting upon the journey so far. I meet with founders, coaches, leaders and members who contributed to the AC's journey to learn more about their experiences with coaching as part of our global community. Together we explore the impact that coaching has had on the world so far, what we need to be thinking about for the future to create more positive change whilst tackling some of the world's biggest challenges. Each week, you'll hear how coaches are working and collaborating as a global community together to advance coaching worldwide. Hello and welcome to another episode celebrating 20 years of the Association for Coaching. In today's conversation, we're going to be exploring the Association for Coaching's global community to learn more about what it means to be part of an emerging and truly global coaching community. Today with me, I have two representatives from various corners of the world, including Eva Chan, who is the Regional Chair for Greater China for the Association for Coaching. She is also the Chairman of the IPO Coach Academy. I also have with me Jackie Scannell, Head of Leadership Development and is an internal coach and the AC's Regional Chair in Ireland. Hello both.
Hello, Rob.
Hello, Rob.
Great to have you on the podcast today. Before we jump into our conversation today, perhaps each of you would like to provide a further introduction to how you show up in the world today. And I'm particularly interested in how you got involved in the AC as well. So, Jackie, perhaps I could start with you.
Great, thanks, Rob. I got involved in the AC in around 2007, 2008 in Ireland, but I had been coaching from 2001. I was part of a big organisation who was getting together with another organisation, and we had a big restructure. And I saw coaching as an opportunity to help people understand the new culture that we were going into. But it was quite a new topic at the time, and I was looking for some support, another organisation to help with that. And I had to pretty much go with it on my own at the time. So when I met a lady called Joanna Fullerton, who was the AC chair of Ireland in 2007, and spoke to her about coaching and my passion for it, she invited me to a meeting, the first AC conference in Ireland. And I just was bowled over by the conversation, by the actual calmness of the conversation, and that made me think, here, I want to be affiliated with the Association for Coaching.
That's a wonderful background there, Jackie. Thank you for sharing that with us. And what about you, Eva? How did you find coaching and the AC?
Okay, I'm accountant, so my professional training is accounting. It's not HR related. So just by coincidence, I joined a training about coaching, and then from that time on, I fall in love with coaching. So that's why after I did my training, I do coaching part time for my friends and clients, and then I really love coaching. I find this is a very powerful tool to support people to reach their goals. So that was actually, the training was about 10 years ago. And so the last 10 years, I keep on using coaching to help my friends and clients. And about, I think that was about 5-6 years ago, I started to join AC as a member, and then and also involved in the AC community. At that time, AC is just starting in Greater China. Okay, Greater China actually involved 4 locations: Hong Kong, Macau, mainland China, and also Taiwan. So for these 4 locations, we have different language. So for Hong Kong, usually we are the most of the Hong Kong people can master English and also Chinese. But for Chinese, we also have 2 languages. We have Mandarin and Cantonese in terms of speaking Chinese. So that's why Greater China region is a very big region involving different location, different language. So we are seeing the opportunities to promote coaching in this region. But what we need to do is to follow the local practice of different location. So When I become the regional chair of Greater China region, at that time it was COVID. So it seems that traveling is very much restricted. Okay, so that's why at that time we have to prepare, and then we wait. We want to wait until the COVID is over, but since it's not possible now. So that's why from last year onwards, we start to build our team locally. And now we have about 11 people in our team. And then we are starting to promote coaching in our local community, and to let, especially in the corporate environment, to let the corporate people understand how AC can support their corporate coach or their internal coach, and then how they can apply coaching in their corporate environment. So that is my background and how I meet AC.
That's fascinating. Thank you for that, Eva. Really interesting about how you've managed to navigate things over the last couple of years as well, in terms of evolving that position and that local community there, and also the greater community that you have across China, which, as you suggest, is a very big region to manage. So I'm interested to learn more about that today through our conversation. Perhaps just staying with you there, Eva, I'm curious, how did the opportunity to become the regional chair with the AC come about?
The Greater China region just started about 4 or 5 years ago. It's a new region for AC. At that time, I was part of the team. Because of my accounting background, so I supposed to do something about finance. Okay, and then about 2-3 years later, the regional chair, Mr. Chris Lam, he would like to see something different. Okay, so and then and also he's busy with his other engagement, so he recommend to AC Global to appoint me as the regional chair. So, and also because of my background, I have a lot of corporate connection, and this actually can support me to go into the corporate world, to introduce coaching to the board level, to the CEO, to the senior executive of especially in the listed company, because I'm also the chairman and also the council member of different professional bodies. So my background actually supports me to connect these people with coaching. So maybe in the past they have no idea what's coaching, because their world actually they have no knowledge about coaching. Okay, but now because of my presence, I'm happy to put them together so that to connect them, especially senior executive, to let them know what's coaching and how to apply this in the corporate environment.
That's great. So what I'm hearing there is actually it's a mixture of your own competencies, obviously the opportunity with Chris moving into more of a global position, but also the background that you have and some of the connections that you have to made you a suitable candidate for that particular role. That's great. Thanks for sharing that with us, Eva. And how about you, Jackie? How did the opportunity for you to become regional chair come about in Ireland?
So strangely enough, my story is very similar to Eva's, unusually enough. So a number of years ago, about 2016, I'd given some feedback to the Association for Coaching, and they contacted me and said, "Thank you for your feedback. Can we talk about it further? And would you like to contribute?" So when I got that invitation, I met with the then regional chair, Ian Mitchell, and he talked me into joining the regional team. And at first, when I joined, I looked after accreditation. But actually, a bit like Eva, my competency is around the corporate space. And being a corporate member, I work for PwC, and also knowing the corporate members in Dublin and having lot of connections locally in Ireland, I then took over the corporate role on the team. And as the team was changing and people were coming in and out of the team at the time, I was then invited to be the co-chair and to organise certain other parts of the team. And I then just evolved into being the regional chair. Well, it feels like I evolved into being the regional chair. So since being the regional chair, we've really looked at, well, what's our mission? What's our focus as a regional team? And we've really come down to the fact that our focus is just about connection. It's about connecting our members with the AC, connecting our members with each other, and connecting our members to whichever part of coaching they want to explore further. And as part of that connection, we've grown out on the corporate side of the membership, and we've also, offered fortnightly virtual cafes where members can just drop in and connect with each other, no agenda. So I just kind of found myself in the role, really. I hadn't planned to be there. It evolved, and it's continuing to evolve, Rob, which is great.
That's great. And I was really inspired by what you were saying there about what your mission and your objectives are in that sense. What's the vision here? I'm curious to explore that a little bit further in terms of perhaps the wider context of coaching now. So not just the AC, but beyond. In your position as a regional chair, what's the vision that you have in terms of how coaching can make a wider contribution today?
So coaching is everywhere. It's growing now. It's, in fact, sometimes it's even overused and sometimes the word is misused. But the great thing is that coaching culture is growing, and the fact that people want to be coached. If you might remember way back when we first started talking about coaching, people saw it as a remedial intervention, and now people see it as a growth intervention, as a leadership intervention. So some of the things that we're hearing from our members, one, from our corporate members, they're trying to develop a culture of coaching in their organizations. They're trying to develop leader coach as a management style. So that's huge, and that's growing. We're having more conversations about that. The big thing that is also evolving now is supervision. So we hear a lot more organisations, we hear a lot more individuals talking about how they engage with a supervisor, and what the best way to find a supervisor. And I think we can support that through the AC. And they're the two biggest things that I'm hearing at the moment. And they're the two areas that we want to support with.
That's great. So yeah, very much about leadership and supervision. They seem to be the emerging trends for you at the moment, Jackie. Is that true for you too, Eva? What do you see as some of the emerging trends? And also, what's your vision in terms of how coaching can make a contribution in your position?
Yes, actually, I totally agree with Jackie about the emerging of coaching, especially in the supervision, and I also agree with Jackie talking about coaching is growing and also it's everywhere, and also sometimes it's overused. So when we talk about overuse, that means that everybody name themselves as coach, as an executive coach, but we can see the difference whether you are an accredited coach or not. So for Greater China region, we are now promoting accreditation. We want to let the community understand, especially to let the clients understand what's the difference between an accredited coach or a non-accredited coach, because we can see the difference. Okay, so in order to have more member can be accredited, we have launched the accreditation in Chinese. So I think we are the first language besides English. We can do it in we can do the accreditation in different language. So because we have we have to create an assessor team that can understand both English and Chinese. So we learn from Janet, the accreditation team head, how to do the assessment in English, and then after, it takes a long time. It's really very challenge, okay, to get through the to become a qualified assessor. So and then we can master the whole assessment process, and then when the accreditation document in Chinese, we can do the assessment. Okay, so this gives a lot of convenience to the members, because in the past, if they can only submit their application in English, they have to translate everything in English, even though they're recording in English. Because of this language barrier, it's difficult for the members to move ahead for the accreditation. Now we remove this barrier for them. So that's why in the last 1 year, we have got about 30 to 40 accredited members. So we believe we have the largest number of accredited members besides UK. So this is something we are also looking forward, we can have more members to be accredited so that we can tell the difference. And also we will tell the local community, if you really want to engage a coach, please check whether he's accredited or not, so that to make sure the qualification and also the experience can match with your expectation.
That's great, Eva. There's so many great things in what you both just said there. My mind's sort of going in all sorts of different directions in terms of where we could take this conversation, but I'll sort of try and keep it on the focus of the global community. But certainly some of the themes that I was picking up there, I know for our listener who may be interested and may not have even heard of the terms accreditation and supervision, we're covering that in this series. Plus, there's all sorts of good information on the Association for Coaching's website, where you can find out more about that if you're new to coaching. But perhaps for the more experienced coaches listening to this, there's some really interesting things in what you both kindly shared with us there. It sort of blows your mind really to think about, once you overcome that language barrier, for example, in this instance with accreditation, how many doors that must open for people in different cultures and different languages to be able to then become accredited and also access this whole world of coaching that you're making possible there. And I think also the importance there of accreditation that you were leaning towards there, Eva, and I know, Jackie, you've got a background with that too. Perhaps I could ask you, Jackie, in your opinion, what are the benefits of being an accredited coach?
So we also promote accreditation, and the benefits of being an accredited coach are you're working towards a set of standards that everybody recognizes. So your client knows you have those set of standards. Going through the accreditation process also helps you look inwardly at yourself as a coach to look at, well, what kind of coach do you want to be? Where are you hitting the mark on those set of competencies? Where are you not? And also helps you to explore what you can do next and how you can support your clients. There are a lot of choices for coaches now. And in fact, when I first started coaching back in 2001, you were a coach, you were a generalist, okay? That's not the case now. So coaches are thinking about, where do I specialize? Am I a team coach? Am I, a systemic coach? Am I doing a bit of psychology with it? Am I doing CBT coaching? There is so many options for coaches to specialize. And I think when you start an accreditation process, you personally get an opportunity to inwardly look at yourself and decide, what is it you want to do? What is it you want to offer your clients?
That's great. Is there anything you'd like to add to that, Eva?
Actually, I think Jackie, it's a very good description about accreditation, what's the value and benefit to be accredited coach. Because I know a lot of members of AC, they are just a member, maybe they think that is good enough. But as Jackie mentioned about, as a accredited coach, that means you are following the international standard, and also you meet the core competency required by AC. So this is something that as a professional coach we have to follow. And also, if you want to because for the accreditation is only valid for three years, so you have to requalify every 3 years. So that means during this period of time, you need to have your CPD, your continuous learning, to make sure you're up to date, and then you practice your coaching regularly, and also have supervision regularly. So I think all these processes can enhance our experience and also our practice. So this is something I believe we should follow, and then so that we can provide the best service to our clients.
You remind me there, Eva, our listener may not be aware, but coaching is currently an unregulated industry. So there is a strong drive, certainly within communities like the Association for Coaching, to maintain and develop and evolve standards. And to both of your points there about evolving that through accreditation, having that accreditation, it gets that credibility, I suppose, that people look for in terms of a coach.
If I could add to that, Rob, it is really important. It does give the credibility, but we should also speak to our members who are not accredited, because we have a lot of members who are not accredited and they are still very good coaches. And why we would recommend and really, try to influence them to get accredited, at the moment, for various reasons, they're not. And there is still a lot they can gain from being a member of the AC. There is still so many webinars, co-coaching. There's so many things available, digital learning, that can help coaches continue to evolve, continue to learn, continue to grow as coaches while they're waiting to get accredited, or while they're, before they get accredited.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And I think there is some credibility, absolutely, that comes with even being a member of an organisation and, for example, through your coaching practice, suggesting to your clients, which code of ethics perhaps that you follow and which particular standards you're aspiring to or working towards in terms of your coaching practice. I'd like to come back to something you touched upon earlier, Eva, which around language, and also you both mentioned the word culture in our conversation so far. So I'm keen to explore that a little bit more today to get a deeper sense of what it means to be part of a global coaching community. So if I could begin with you, Eva, I think you've got a unique standpoint where you have the opportunity to speak with both Chinese and English people and coaches. I'm curious, are there any differences that you see in terms of the actual culture of coaching, or perhaps the perspective or the mindset in terms of the attitudes towards coaching from a Chinese point of view versus what you see elsewhere around the globe?
Okay, this is an interesting question because even though for Chinese, in Hong Kong and in mainland China and Taiwan is very much different in terms of the coaching culture. In Hong Kong, although it's not very popular, but some international firm or some big organization, because they have a lot of interaction with the Western culture, so that's why a lot of the expatriates, they bring this concept or this idea to Hong Kong already. So they know what is coaching. But interestingly, most of the senior executive of these MNC or the big organization, they are Western people, they're foreigners. So they very much into coaching. Actually, they have a practice to engage an executive coach. But for a local Chinese company in Hong Kong, this is not a practice anymore. That means not many people understand the value of coaching. So that's why we need to promote to the local community, local Chinese community. Okay, but in mainland China and Taiwan, it's a totally different culture, different community. Because especially for mainland China, the organization there actually, especially for the big company, they love learning. They love learning. So anything they see there's a learning opportunity, they'll go into it. And then they want to learn as much as possible. So that's why coaching is another area I understand some company they very much looking into, because they know this is a way to grow their company, to grow their people. So the demand for coaching in mainland China actually is growing. They very well accept coaching to accept coaching as a culture in their company. So we are seeing a lot of opportunities in mainland China, and also because in terms of the population in mainland China, it's about 1.4 billion people. It's a huge number. So that's why we are seeing if we can promote coaching in mainland China, in the Greater China region, that means a lot of people will be benefit. So I'm saying this is a big mission for me to achieve in the coming years. So this is, because of the different culture and different understanding in my 4 locations. So that's why we have to use different strategy to get into the market, to let the people understand or to create the awareness of AC. So that is my work in the coming years.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll come back to that, Eva. Thank you. And Jackie, for you, similar question, but also I'd like to ask you as well, in terms of your perspective in Ireland, how you feel the culture has evolved as well. Because I recognise for Eva it's relatively new, but for you, Jackie, you've got deeper experience in terms of chronologically there with the Irish community.
So the culture around coaching has evolved, and I kind of said it earlier. Before, when someone had a coach, it was seen as remedial. So I worked with a lot of executives who wouldn't have told anyone they had a coach. They would have had their coach. The coach would have come in the back door of an organization, and it was a big secret.
Yeah.
And now we see, executives now saying, I have my coach, you should meet my coach. So people see coaching as a way to grow, as a way to expand conversations, as a way to develop, and just as a way to talk something through in your business so that you can advance. Okay. So, and people are sharing that. They share the good luck stories or the success stories now. They're absolutely sharing those. So there is a huge difference in the way the coaching culture has evolved in organizations, but also in society as the whole. And we're very lucky because also coaching now has grown. It's bigger than Ireland, because of digitization, because of COVID, and it's all going virtually. A coach in Ireland can attend a co-coaching anywhere they want in the world once they can speak the language. And that's fantastic. We couldn't do that before. We couldn't even imagine doing co-coaching virtually. And now someone has access to 160 or more co-coaching sessions that they can attend. Earlier this year in May, we ran a corporate event globally. We spoke to a corporate member in Canada who shared their experience with global corporate members. So the culture has grown outside of Ireland. And we also in May had a global supervision event where we brought supervisors from all around the globe to share their supervisory experience and run a supervisory session so people could experience supervision. So we saw the difference in it globally. So the world has opened up now and we have access to so much. And that you can see is expanding the culture.
That's great to hear, Jackie. I'm hearing a number of things in there, which is from both of you, actually, in terms of just the broader awareness, more people are learning about coaching and that being part of the culture. And also just the attitudes and how they're changing, to your point there, Jackie, particularly in the more corporate space where it was something you kept a secret, and now these days it's actually something you can sort of proudly announce is that you are working with coaches, which is perhaps symbolic of seeking support, getting the right support, but also perhaps emphasizing a dedicated to one's cause or mission in terms of actually making sure that there aren't going to be any obstacles, which is something I'd like to sort of come to now with both of you in terms of what you see are some of the challenges, perhaps, where coaching is going now. And what it feels like to be part of a global community. I think there's a general sort of consensus from those that I speak to that there's more we could be doing to foster that sense of being a part of a global community. So perhaps I can begin with you, Eva, in terms of, from your point of view, what do you see some of the challenges being in terms of evolving things from this point forward as part of a global coaching community?
Okay, I think actually after the pandemic, actually we are seeing the new normal. There's no border anymore, so we can do everything, most of the thing virtual, and I think this help especially for Greater China region because region is so big, and so in the past if we need to have event in every location. Yes, there need a lot of resources, but now we can put it all together virtually, online. So I think this is something can help to grow our local community more effectively. But having said that, as I said, because of the language barrier, this will give us this kind of hurdle is still, we have to overcome. Even though not only speaking language, for Chinese we have Cantonese and Mandarin. Even though written Chinese, we have two different types of written Chinese. We have simplified Chinese, we have traditional Chinese. So, and even though different Chinese language, different our members feel inconvenient. If the member is, they read simplified Chinese, they cannot read traditional Chinese. Okay, this is something. It's a small thing, but when you put this into reality, it can be a big issue. Okay, so that's why at the same time, because of the language barrier, so a lot of resources on the AC website. That means because they're all in English, so I understand English. So when I go to the AC website, the AC Connect, I find that's really beautiful because I can get any information I want to get. But for our members, if they only understand Chinese, that's a nightmare for them. Okay, even though they want to renew their membership online, they don't know how to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is something we have to overcome. But I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
We can do it. Okay. The most important at this moment for me is to make sure, we create the awareness of coaching and also AC to the local community. Okay. When they see the value and the benefit, language is not a problem anymore. They'll find their own way because we are coaches. That means we believe our clients can get their way. They have their own solution to sort out all these difficulties and to reach their goal. So I'm still very positive, and so I'm optimistic and to move ahead. And together with my team, now we have 11 people.
Thank you for sharing that, Eva. And how about you, Jackie?
So a moment ago, I talked about the benefits of, the world being smaller and you can attend something anywhere. But actually, that's also a challenge because our members have more choice now than they've ever had. Okay, they have emails coming at them every week, inviting them to webinars, to talks, to sign up for this and sign up for that. So that choice means that people are sitting there saying, well, what do I join? Where will I spend my time? Because they have only a finite amount of time. So I think that puts a challenge on us to get it right, to get the communication right so we don't overwhelm our members, to really understand what they want from us. And that's about listening to them and actually finding out what the members want, where they want to spend their time, and why would they actually listen to us and come along and join us. So I think that's our biggest challenge at the moment, is that listening because of the amount of choice people have.
I totally agree with Jackie. Okay, especially now there are so many free seminar or webinar. So when everything is free, so when they have to pay for a certain session, that means if they really want to pay, that means they see the value.
Yeah, that's really insightful, and it's really interesting to hear how there are both sort of almost local, regional, if you like, and also global challenges, and there are things to be addressed almost at every level, really. So we've touched upon some of the challenges there, and I can hear that optimism from both of you. So I'm keen to sort of explore that a little bit more in terms of taking those challenges forward. Where do you see both the sort of short and near-term opportunities as well as the longer-term opportunities from your positions, both as regional chairs within the AC and the AC community, but also within the world of coaching as well?
I see the short-term opportunity. We've already made big changes to our platforms, to our communication. So the short-term opportunities are to continue making those changes to the AC Connect platform and to all the communications that we send and to listening to our members. But it's also about, now that the world has opened up, we don't have to do everything virtually. Can we meet up again? Is there an opportunity to meet people face to face if they want to? Because a lot more comes out of a face-to-face meeting. There are opportunities, and when people meet face-to-face, they feel connected to each other, they may say more, and they're not as stifled. So I think there's a real opportunity in the short term to just encourage more face-to-face meeting, to encourage people to feel they belong and to feel they connect. I think longer term, we have to really look at the changes in the world around us, the changes in the workforce, the changes in people maybe working from hubs, working from home. We've talked a lot so far in our conversation, really from a corporate angle and from executive coaching of executives and people in business. But, there's a huge amount of life coaches out there working with people on an everyday basis. And life has changed. So there's an opportunity for us to really understand what is changing for people so that our coaches feel comfortable in addressing that, in being there and knowing that they're wanted in that space. And we started this during COVID because there was a couple of organizations set up to volunteer to coach people in the health services during COVID. And that's a fantastic organisation. And a lot of our AC members supported this. But I think it's about us continue to do that, continue to look at the changes that are out there and always be willing to evolve and change and not be stuck to what we think coaching is now.
Thank you, Jackie. Eva?
I think for our members locally, we are seeing AC is a global, is an international organization. So that means we can connect with the other members overseas and then can learn from them. So these are the value we can offer to our members locally. As I mentioned, especially for those members from mainland China and also Taiwan, they are eager to learn. They want to learn from peoples all over the world. So I think this is the beauty of AC, because this is an international body, and then and also the new platform, the AC Connect, actually we can create our community that is we are interested. Okay, so this is something I think is the other coaching body can offer. Okay, and also because AC is also we have the corporate member, which is also very unique. So and we have the leader coach accreditation. This is also very unique. So these are the benefits we can bring to our members locally, and also to grow them, to develop them into the corporate community. We can exchange idea. We can learn from each other. So you can see, of course, there are lots of challenges in between when we have to deliver this mission. But at the same time, I'm also seeing the opportunities and also the value we can create locally through the support of AC as an international body.
That's great. So I heard a number of things in there from both of you, Eva and Jackie. Thank you for that. And what really stuck out for me is actually the value of being part of a global community there and the access to people, resources, and to your earlier point about the connections that can be made, cross-beneficial opportunities for people involved in the community. Also to your points there about how the world is evolving and changing very quickly at the moment. And we don't know what other opportunities might be around the corner. So there's almost something to be said about working together as a global community, figuring that out as we go. And it sounds like that has been a trend for the Association for Coaching over the last 20 years and in the last few years and decade or so of both of your experience. So I'd like to begin to bring our conversation to a close now. But before I do, I just, again, to gain a deeper sense of your own regions and the global community, I was just wondering if you've got any short inspiring stories or moments or somebody or something that's inspired you in your time as regional chairs with the AC.
As a coach myself, one of the things that are presented to me more than anything else is the term imposter syndrome. And so many of our clients come and, feel they are that imposter. And at the beginning of COVID, I was so proud of the team that I work with as part of the AC, because the first thing our team did was said, we have a load of coaches out there who are going to feel disconnected. They work for themselves and they are going to feel outside of a community because overnight they can't go see their clients. Overnight, people are worried about money and paying for coaches. So maybe some of their businesses have stopped overnight. And two of my colleagues, Patricia Conlon and Nick Morgan, put in this virtual cafe. And this was just a drop-in cafe. And the first couple of weeks of COVID, our members popped in there just to connect. Some of them were shocked by what was happening to their businesses. Some of them were looking just to talk to other people. And we continue with that today. But for me, it was really inspirational by doing something really simple, not extravagant, not we didn't even need to, promote it that much. By doing something really simple and being there, we created a connection and we were there for our members when at a time they may have been feeling lost, or some of them definitely would have been feeling lost. And in fact, some of them are showing up feeling imposters themselves as coaches because where was their business going? So for me, that was really inspirational. And what it has taught me is keep it simple. We can have big mission statements, we can have all we want, but just keep it simple. And probably that's my motto as the regional chair in Ireland. Let's just keep it simple and connect.
That's great. Thank you ever so much for sharing that, Jackie. How about you, Eva?
Because Greater China region is quite new, we just set up a few years ago. And then, although we are new, but we still have 120 members. And most of these members are actually, they learn the coaching in UK. And then, but they live in China, so that's why they come back to China and become the member of the Greater China region. So at the beginning, we don't have any Greater China region, so that's why they have no support locally. But now we have the Greater China region, so that's why when they know that there's a region for them, they are so excited. Say, okay, I find my region, and then I have my my community, our leaders, our leadership team is here. So I think this is something we are seeing. How we can support our member locally, and then to listen to them to see how we can support them to grow their profession. And this is also something very exciting because we see the value for our leadership team here. And because we have different locations, they have different culture, so this is something we have to work very hard, and also to connect with our members, to understand them. So for me, I really touched when I heard our members say, "Okay, I find our team here." So this is something very exciting. Yeah.
That's lovely. Thank you both for those examples. And I love how there's common themes between them too. To your point there, Jackie, about connection. And I was hearing that, Eva, how people locally are getting very excited to feel they have their own local region, which is dedicated to something that they're passionate about and interested in. So thank you for those examples. It's lovely to get a deeper sense of how coaching is being experienced in various different corners of the planet. So just as we begin to wrap up, I was just wondering if there's anything else you would like to share with our listener today in the context of what we've talked about. I appreciate there's so many different directions we could have gone, and there's so much more I would love to cover. But I was just wondering, off the back of everything that's been said today, whether there is anything you would like to add for our listener who may be new to coaching or may have been in coaching for quite some time, but may be unaware of perhaps some of the benefits that you see every day in your role as part of the AC community.
So, Rob, I think you said, the answer is nearly in the question. You use the word community, okay? And I think that that's the biggest word. So I would say to anybody listening, come join our community. Doesn't matter what type of coaching you do. It doesn't matter whether you think you're good or not so good. Come along and join and explore your coaching journey with us. We'll help you explore your coaching journey and find your own path. So that's what I'd like to say to our members or our potential members.
That's great. Thank you. And Eva?
Yes, I share what Jackie just mentioned. I just want to invite everybody to come to our activities, our event. No matter, because it doesn't matter, you just come and join, participate. When you participate, you already contribute. Okay, your support there actually make our presence meaningful. So please come and also bring your coaching friends together, your clients, whatever, okay, to join our activities, and then to let them understand what is coaching, what is AC, and then I believe they'll find AC is interesting, and then they can get a lot of value from the AC. Yeah.
Super. Thank you, Eva. So we've mentioned connection many times today in our conversation. So how can our listener connect with you? Eva, perhaps I'll start with you. How can our listener best connect with you?
By email, eva@associationforcoaching.com.
That's great. And we'll put the link in the show notes too, as well, for our listener, so they can connect with you through there. And how about you, Jackie?
So very similarly, you can connect with me by emailing me at Jacqueline@associationforcoaching.com. I'll spell Jacqueline, JACQUELINE@associationforcoaching.com. Look forward to hearing from you.
Well, thank you both for a really inspiring and insightful conversation today.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Jackie.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, Eve.
Thanks for listening to another podcast by the Association for Coaching. I'm Rob Lawrence. For 20 years, the AC's purpose has been to inspire and champion coaching excellence, advance the coaching profession, and make a sustainable difference to individuals, organisations, and societies worldwide. To find out more about the Association for Coaching and our member benefits, follow us on LinkedIn or explore our website at associationforcoaching.com. You can keep up to date with our latest podcast episodes, enjoy the wealth of digital learning offerings, and gain insights from our Coaching Perspectives magazine.